Well, would you look at that? J.K. Rowling finally made a comment on the casting of Black Snape in the Harry Potter HBO series. Oh no, wait a minute. No. She just made a comment in regards to what the actor of Black Snape supports, because it runs contrary of the only thing that she cares about now. It's just, oh my god, man, she's such an embarrassment. I do like me some Harry Potter stuff, and hell, prior to just recording this, I was also watching, I don't know, maybe it was just influenced by my idea to talk about this topic, but ended up watching some, classic Alan Rickman performances as Snape, the Always scene, reactions to that, and also the clock tower scene. Being vague for, don't want to give spoilers to movies that are over 10 years old at this point in time, but no, just the fact that Alan Rickman, even though, people had foibles and qualms with him being cast in the role to begin with, it's going to be impossible for Paapa Essiedu, who for a multitude of reasons is so wrong for this role. He's going to fail to produce that level and replicate and even challenge any of those moments. It was a nice stark contrast to something that was so great, and it's just going to be bastardized. It's one of the first things, at least big franchises that I care about, that are going to be remade. And honestly, it's not going to be as good as the original. It's not even going to be as good as half of the original. But as much as I and potentially you guys care about that stuff, that's not what J.K. Rowling cares about. No. He said something about trans, and that's the only thing that I, spend my time with right now. Tweeting about trans issues and how it's all men's problems. It's like, oh my God. For as much shit as I give that gargantuan fat ass George R.R. Martin for being a lazy piece of shit, at least he shows up for the first couple of seasons of the show. At least he gives a crap about the source material. All of his bitching, whining, and complaining is about what other people do with it, but ostensibly he cares about the source material. He cares about the projects that brought him to the table to begin with. J.K. Rowling, on the other hand, no man, she's just a crazy ass leftist who, happens to think that men are men and women are women, and people want to applaud her because of that basic bitch take. Whatever. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling fires back after Snape actor Paapa Essiedu signs a letter opposing UK court ruling on gender issues. Let's take a look. J.K. Rowling has already found herself at odds with Snape actor Paapa Essiedu ahead of the upcoming HBO Harry Potter series. The divide surrounding HBO's upcoming Harry Potter series has deepened as several Potter franchise actors, both past and present, signed an open letter opposing the UK's Supreme Court a decision affirming the legal definition of sex refers to biological sex. Among the signatories were Fantastic Beasts star. I take umbrage with the terminology that anybody in those Fantastic Beasts movies were stars because of those movies. Eddie Redmayne, the original film series actress Katie Lang, and most notably Paapa Essiedu, who will portray Severus Snape in the new television adaptation. Fuck, man. Just how much they bungled this, because I was genuinely looking forward to this. I was looking forward to a couple of things in the upcoming years, and I already know that they're gonna suck. Superman, House of the Dragon season 3, I probably have more hope for that than anything else. And then this series right here, God, it could have been so great. And I gotta really dive back. I've also got to watch I've actually got to watch Star Wars, and I got to go back and I got to watch those Harry Potter movies, because God damn it, man, they were so good. Actually, I might do that. Yeah, I kind of want to watch Lord of the Rings this weekend. Anyways, no, just what they're going to do with Severus Snape, which outside of the Trinity, Dumbledore, like Snape is arguably depending on how you want to position him, and I'm not entirely sure of all of his, contributions in the source material. I know enough, but I don't know the full, the context of the stuff. I didn't read the books. I'm not all that familiar with what's in them, but I know that he plays a gigantic role in the movies in that adaptation, and I know that he's very much a central character. And the fact that by simply casting a black guy, they're ultimately going to be changing a lot of the context on this. And this has to be a WB mandate, because we've seen their policies, end up changing certain aspects of House of the Dragon. House of Valarian, or Valerian, rather. Valaria is the region, Valerian is the house. I think I got that right. But yeah, they all became black, even though that they're canonically white. But because Ryan Condal is very competent at his job, he ended up making that a pretty decent plot point. It just shows that Rhaenyra is a gigantic hypocrite. It just shows, King Viserys' undying and blind love for his daughter. And yeah, it ended up being a reasonable plot point in that story. It's just, how are you going to have the bullying of James Potter not be couched in the idea that, oh yeah, he's doing that just because Severus is black? How you're going to have that play into the stuff? It's like, unless you fundamentally change everything about the interactions with James and Sirius and Severus, if you're just going to do away with all of that stuff and just have him opine after Lily from afar, but then that has downstream effects. It's just, you're changing things, and it's done to adhere to modern sensibilities that are already falling out of vogue. So it's, man, it's disappointing. It's always going to be disappointing. The open letter, which drew over 2,000 signatures. Oh, wow. Over 2,000, huh? That's a big list. From within the entertainment and academic industries, claimed that from the academic industries deriding the acknowledgement of biological sex. What the fuck? Claim that the court's ruling undermines the lived reality and threatens the safety of individuals who identify differently from their birth sex. Prompted backlash across social media, with critics and supporters of J.K. Rowling once again colliding in a very public debate. Rowling, who has celebrated the UK's court decision for a win for sex-based rights, posted a lengthy essay on X addressing the letter and who signed it. In light of the recent open letters from academia and the arts criticizing UK's Supreme Court ruling on sex-based rights, it's possibly worth remembering that nobody sane believes or has ever believed that humans can change sex and that binary sex isn't a material fact. The letters do nothing but remind us of what we know all too well, that pretending to believe that these things has become an elitist badge of virtue. Some argue that signatories, these sorts of letters are motivated by the fear of their careers, of course, but also fear of their co-religionists, who include angry, narcissistic men. What the fuck, man? This bitch, who threaten and sometimes enact harm on non-believers, backstabbing colleagues, ever ready to report wrong things. The online shamers and doctors, and of course influential zealots in the upper echelons of liberal professions. See, when I say that she is one of the most prominent misandrists that's out there, I mean, who does she blame? Not Cho Chang. No. You narcissistic men, bruh. Get out of here. Rowling stopped short of naming any specific individuals, but her remarks came shortly after Paapa Essiedu confirmed his participation in the upcoming HBO series, despite his name appearing on the open letter. This prompted some online call for his removal from the project. And to be completely honest, man, if we're going out there and we're just turfing people that have, well, anti-turf sentiments, I think that that's kind of silly. But yeah, I would just go ahead and get rid of Paapa Essiedu from the role, just, full stop, because he's not right for the fucking role. He really isn't. He could be probably, a banger Kingsley Shacklebolt. He's probably a little bit too old to be Dean Thomas, and I'm sure there's other black characters that he could go ahead and portray, because no, you're not going to be getting a race-changed Kingsley Shacklebolt. No. I highly fucking doubt that. It's so funny how this shit only ever works in one fucking direction, huh? But J.K. Rowling says, I wouldn't fire Paapa Essiedu from HBO's Harry Potter for supporting trans rights. I don't have the power, and I wouldn't exercise it if I did. So yeah, that right there, that's just a tacit acknowledgement that, yeah, I don't really care about all that stuff. I've got other pet projects that I'm, more concerned with than the legacy of my work. I don't have the power to sack an actor from a series, and I wouldn't exercise it if I did, Rowling wrote on X while sharing an article about Asiatu. I don't believe in taking away people's jobs or livelihoods because they hold legally protected beliefs that differ from mine. Which, yeah, hey, we can agree on that. Rowling has courted controversy since 2020 for regularly sharing beliefs on social media that many believe are transphobic. The author also uses platforms like X to regularly troll her critics and take aim at public figures, such as slamming John Oliver's comments on trans athletes. Yeah, because he had the audacity to say that men hold no biological advantage over women in sports. It's like, that is just so patently stupid. It could only come from the mouth and mind of John Oliver. Both HBO and new Harry Potter cast have received backlash for getting into business with Rowling due to her anti-trans past. But yeah, you could be like John Lithgow and go, yeah, I don't really care. That shit's kind of funky. He said it in a much more eloquent and sagely way. And while yeah, I've espoused that I think John Lithgow is very talented, I just also think that there are probably British actors that would have been, more than willing and more than capable of playing in a ostensibly British story, which that's what this is. But if you want to open this up to international casting, Adam Driver was right there for Snape. He is exactly the description that you have given him in the books. He fits the sketches that you made, JK, on multiple different occasions. He would have been perfect for the role. Maybe you couldn't get him. That's totally fine. But there were other alternatives that were out there instead of just paying no mind and giving no attention to a pivotal character in your seminal work being race swapped for, as you put, virtue signaling points. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.